So, dangal greetings po, Sir Janus. I am Gwen Jasanel Pajardo, the leader of this group. And ngayon po ay pipresent na namin ang aming final project for CCS 102. So, let's start.
Dangal greetings, and I am King James Demata. And for the start of our project, we're going to call the package named CCS 102 Finals. And after that, we import the java.util.input mismatch exception and also the java.util.scanner for the user inputs and mismatch inputs. And the next is the class name, which is named Product Inventory Management System. Inside, we're gonna initialize the scanner to take the user inputs. And next is the main method. Inside the main method, we have the constants variable for the maximum limits on products and transactions. Next is the declaration of 2D arrays to store the products and sales transaction details. The int product count and the transaction count is our variable for the counter, and we're calling here our add dummy product method inside the main method that will be useful later on. Next is the welcoming message of the PNCI manage. We're gonna declaring here the boolean is login is equivalent to false. This is the while loop for our login credentials until the authentication succeeds. Inside is the method for the authenticate user, and once the boolean is logged and returned true, it will undergo to call the main menu method that has its respective parameter.
Hello everyone! So now naman is i-explain natin yung method to handle user authentication. As you can see po sa code namin, meron po dyan system.out print line and yung nakapaloob po is mga broken lines. Parang ito lang po yung divider or pang-design lang po para mapaganda yung user interface kahit console lang. Then, system.out print, please enter username. Dito po is pinoprompt ng system na mag-input si user ng username and wala po siyang print line para same line lang yung output sa input field. Then, string username equals scanner.nextLine. We need the user's input using scanner.nextLine and save it to the username variable. Reminder lang po dito is dapat merong scanner object na na-declare sa program or else mag-error. Then, system out print please enter password. Same process lang po but this time the system asks for the password. Then, string password equals scanner.nextLine. Again, it captures the user's password input and stores it in the password variable. Then, makita niyo po ulit dyan yung system out print line and yung broken line na nakapaloob dito. Another divider po siya, parang closing lang sa process. Like, pampalinis tingnan lang po sa console. Then, for the continuation po ng method user authentication, let me call Mr. Von Lagata to explain.
After what Ms. Nanyos have discussed, this method uses an if-else-if structure to perform tasks based on what the users have entered. First, the program checks if either the username or the password is empty using the username.isEmpty and the password.isEmpty condition. Now, if one of them is true, the program displays fields cannot be empty. Try again. Now, if the fields are not empty, the method moves on to the next condition, where it checks whether if the username and the password is equal to the default username and the default password. It uses the username dot equals default username and password dot equals default password. Now, if both of them are true, the isLogin variable will become true and it will print out authentication successful. And if one of them is false, it will move on to the else block, which will print out authentication failed. Please try again.
Another method for dummy data testing. Dito naman i-access yung laman ng bawat array and public static int add product para makallout yung method sa ating main method. And product row as a product count, column for 0 which is the product ID, 1 for the product name, 2 for the price, and 3 for the product quantity, and rest for the other products. And then return product count to the main method. Then another method naman that allows to manage the inventory and sales. Then public static void main method, which is hindi siya magre-return ng value which is void sa ating main method. And kikreate tayo ng boolean variable manage inventory which is true para sa ating loop na hanggang hindi pa nag-exit yung user, which is ulit-ulit siyang mag-run. And then magagawa tayo ng while loop, manage inventory, and then display the menu options by calling the method show menu options. And to get the valid input, create an int variable choice which is equivalent dun sa i-call out na method, which is method get valid input sa ating methods.
Ayan, so since tapos nang ma-explain Delgra yung ating main method and yung nakapaloob na variable sa parameter nun, also yung while loop na ating ginamit sa program dito for manage inventory, let's proceed to switch statement. So gumamit kami ng switch statement para sa ating magiging menu options kung saan pipili si user. So sa ating menu, meron tayong 7 na options. So nandito yung ating add product, view products, update product, delete product, perform sales transaction, and view sales transaction, at last yung exit. So sa case 1, dito papasok yung ating add product. So yung add product natin is another method siya. So sa loob ng parameter na nandun ang ating variables na max products, and product count. Then sa case 2 naman, nandito yung ating view products. So sa parameter noon may nakapaloob na variables at ayun yung product count at products. Case 3 naman, dito naman papasok yung ating update product method na meron namang variable sa parameter na products at product count din. Also, nandito rin yung ating case 4 na papasokan naman ng ating delete product method na katulad lang din ng variables na nakapaloob sa parameter nun is yung product count at products. So next, case 5. Dito naman papasok ang ating transaction count equals to perform sales transaction method. So sa parameters nun, meron tayong variables sa product count, products, sales transaction, and transaction count. Next is case 6 naman natin. Nandito naman yung ating view sales transaction method. So sa parameter nun, meron tayong dalawang variables and ayun yung transaction count at yung sales transaction. So case 7 naman, dito na napasok yung ating manage inventory equals to confirm exit method. So yung confirm exit method natin is another method siya kung saan papasok yung pinaka-process pag nag-exit na si user sa ating program. So next is syempre yung default natin, no? Para if ever na mag-invalid choice or invalid option na pinili si user, merong sasalo and ito yung default na yan. So let's proceed sa next method.
Hi, my name is Sam Datoy, and now I will discuss the one of the method na ginamit namin sa aming program code. So, start tayo sa method na show menu option. Ito yung method na kinol ni Mr. Fajardo sa main menu na kung saan o kung anong ginagawa ay pag-display lamang ng mga pagpipilian ni user. So, dito nakalagay ang product inventory management system, which is yung title. Tapos yung 7 na pagpipilian ni user, which is ang add product, view products, update product, delete product, perform sales transaction, view sales transactions, at exit. So, ang ginagawa lamang ng method na ito ay pag-display lamang ng pagpipilian ni user. At binetod din namin siya para pag kinol namin lahat sa isang method ay maiksi lang tignan at hindi mahaba at malinis. So, and next tayo sa method ng get valid choice. So, ito yung kinoli Mr. Fajardo after ng show menu option. So, this method, ang ginagawa nito ay input validation ng user. Kumbaga, siya ang nagpa-process ng mga i-input ni user. So, gumamit kami ng while loop para paulit-ulit mag-transact at mag-ask si system kay user. Then, nag-print kami ng choose an option. Tapos, gumamit kami ng try-catch para sa mga ibang elements na maaaring input ni user. So, dito, naglagay kami ng INT choice scanner. Ito yung scanner ng choose an option. Tapos, naglagay kami ng if else condition. So, if yung choice ay greater than and equal to 1 and less than equal to 7, i-return nyo yung choice kasi valid input. Kasi 1 to 7 ang pagpipilian ni user. Then, kung ang input ni user ay number pero wala sa choices, doon na papasok ang else natin. Which is, ang ipiprint ni program ay invalid option, please try again. Pero, kapag si user ay nag-input ng string or other elements, doon na papasok ang catch natin. Which is, ang ipiprint naman niya ay invalid input, please enter a number. So, patuloy yan mag-aas at magtutuloy ang transaction at tsaka lang titigil ang ating while loop kapag pinili na ni user ang exit choice. And that's all for my discussion and thank you for listening.
So ngayon, i-discuss natin yung add product method. So yung method na to is, ang ginagawa lang niya is in-add niya yung user input, yung input ni user sa ating inventory na array. So, let's start. So public static, tapos may return type tayo na int. So kung bakit int, kasi yung return ng method na to is yung product count, which is integer. So kaya int yung return type. For the method name, meron tayong add product. So self-explanatory siya kung bakit add product, kasi nag-add tayo ng product. That's it. And then after that, sa parameters natin, nakalagay is int max product, string 2D array products, and then int product count. So ito yung mga variables na galing sa main method na pinapass natin sa ating add product method. So dito sila naka-initialize sa ating main method. And then ayan siya, string product, max product, and then product count. And then pinapass natin ito dito sa ating add products. So yun. After that, tapos tayo pass ng parameter, mag-ano naman tayo. So, yun naman yung process naman ni add products. So, unang-una muna, check muna natin if yung maximum product limit ay na-reach. So, meron tayo dito if product count is greater than or equal to max product, which is 10. Magpa-prompt kay user na cannot add more products kasi na-reach na yung limit. And yung limit is 10. So, baka siya lumampas doon. And then, pagkatapos ito, mag-return tayo ng product count. So, if maging true man to, let's say na ang value ni product count is 10. So true yan, mangyayari to. And then, ma-return yung product count, which is mahihinto. Hindi mangyayari na sa baba. So, pag false naman to, hindi siya mangyayari kasi false. And then, mangyayari yung nasa baba niya. Kasi, ganun sa Java. And then, after that, i-get natin yung product details from the user. So, enter product ID kasi hinanap natin yung product ID, and then yung i-enter ni user is mag-i-store sa ating string ID variable. So, the same din yon sa ating product name. So, enter product name, and then mag-i-store siya sa ating product name variable. So, after that, nakuha mo na yung product ID, nakuha mo na yung product name. Meron pa tayong dalawang kailangan kukunin. So, meron tayong kukunin na price and then yung quantity. So, ito silang dalawa. So, string price is equals to get validated input, enter product price, and then string quantity is equal to get validated input equals enter product quantity. So itong get validated input na to is method siya, another method siya actually. So nasa baba lang din siya ng add product. So yung ginagawa lang ng method na to is binavalidate niya yung in-input ni user. So kasi sa ating product price tsaka sa ating product quantity, kailangan kasi na int or numerical value yung ilalagay. Hindi naman kasi mag-make sense na yung ilalagay ni user ay string, for example. Hindi na mag-make sense. So, kaya binavalidate natin dito sa ating get validated input. So, basic validation lang yan, while true, tapos, so pag true to, mangyayari siya. Walang ulit hanggang sa maging false. And then, system out, print prompt, which is ito, string prompt, and then string input is equal to scanner next line. So, kung ano man yung nalagay ni user doon, mag-store siya dito. And then, check if yung in-input ni user ay integer ba or valid number. So, meron tayong try integer, parse int, tapos input. So, ito, check natin kung yung input ba is integer or valid number, sorry. And then, return natin yung input. Pagka mali siya, kunwari, string pa rin siya yung nakalagay, mangyayari itong catch, which is, kinakatch niya yung mga error. So, catch number format exception, and then, yun, in-handle lang niya yung invalid input. So, kunwari, pag hindi siya numerical value, pag string siya, mangyayari yung catch, and then, magpa-prompt tong invalid input, enter a positive number. So, yun lang yung ginagawa ng get validated input. Binavalidate lang niya kung numerical value ba yung price tsaka yung product quantity. So, nakuha na natin yung string ID, nakuha natin yung name, nakuha na natin yung price, nakuha natin yung quantity. So, after that, i-validate naman natin kung may empty ba na nalagay si user. Kung empty, which means wala siya nalagay or nakaligtaan niya maglagay. If may, kung isa man dito, isa man dyan yung empty, mangyayari tong if statement na if ID and is empty and name is empty, kasi naka-or yan eh. Or pala, sorry. If ID is empty or name is empty, ito yung dalawa. Kung empty ba yan, mangyayari ito, mag-prompt is fields cannot be empty kasi bawal naman talaga maging empty kung ano yung i-store kung empty, diba? So, please provide valid inputs and then mag-return na return product count. So, kung na-validate natin lahat, so hindi siya empty, tama yung nilagay ni user, numerical value nilagay ni user sa may price, tsaka quantity, hindi siya empty. Sa ID, sa name, kahit saan, i-store na natin yung ilalagay ni user. So, products, yung pangalan nating array, and then product count. So, kung bakit product count? Kasi, sa unang iteration kasi, yung product count natin si 0. So, bale, if si product count is nag-act as ating row sa ating product array. So, dito, nakikita natin 0, yung product count. Then, keeps track of the number of products added. So, nag-serve siya as ating row. Kasi diba, 2D array, rows and columns. So, rows yung ganito, horizontal. Tapos, columns vertical. So, yun yun. So, yun yung row natin, product count. 0 siya. So, or kung ano man yung value niya, kung ilang iteration ka man. So, yun yung value nun. Para maging dynamic, kumbaga. So, in product count. So, one iteration, 0 yan. So, 0. And then, yung ating column is nakaset na. Kasi, 4 lang naman yung ilalagay natin na element sa ating column. Kaya hindi siya, kaya yun ito is nakaset sa ating product count. Kasi nga, hanggang 10 siya eh. Kailangan maging dynamic yung ating row. Yung ating bilang ng row. Yung ating bilang ng products. So, hindi siya nakafix katulad ni column na ilalagay yung ID, name, price, quantity, and so on. Diba? So, product ID is 0 on the column kasi yun yung index niya, 0. Tapos, sunod nun, sa ating name, product count pa rin yung ating row, and then yung name is 1. So, 0, 1 hanggang 3 kasi 4 yung ating gustong ilagay. ID, name, price, quantity. So, 4. After that, nalagay na ng user yung na-store niya na sa ating array yung ID, name, price, quantity ng product. I-prompt natin si user ng product added successfully kasi tapos na. Na-add niya na. And then, ito yung importanteng part. Dito yung importanteng part na ng add product code. So, ni-return niya. So, meron tayong return dito sa ulian. Tapos, meron tayong increment product count. Yun. In-increment natin yung product count, tapos ni-return natin yung value. So, importante to kasi para ma-keep track natin yung bilang ng row. Kasi, di ba? Kunwari, nakapaglagay ka na ng, for example, nakapaglagay ka na ng isang product, right? So, 0 pa yun. Yun yung product count niya, 0. Unang product pa lang to, 0. So, tapos, pagka nagawa mo na lahat yun, successfully na yung yung pag-add mo, yung product count magiging 1. Tapos, in the next iteration, yung product count, yung value ni product count is 1 na din. So, ibig sabihin, ito ay hindi na 0, 0. Ito ay 1, 0. Ito ay hindi na 0, 1. Ito ay 1, 1. So yun yun. Yun yung para maging dynamic yung ating row. So, product added successfully. So, tapos na. So, na-discuss natin yung add product count, na-discuss natin yung get validated input. Also, ano ba yung tsura nun sa ating console? So, try natin. Please enter username, admin, syempre. Admin, and then pipiliin natin sa menu is yung add product. Sa add product, 1. And then yun, nag-prompt na. So, hindi lumabas tong cannot add more products kasi nga hindi pa nalilig yung limit eh. So, if kunwari is-set natin na kunwari is ang saan yan? Ito, kunwari ay 10 tapos save. So, ginawa kong 10 yung product count para lang makita natin kung ano yung mangyayari. If lagpas 10 or equals 10 na yung So, kunwari, and admin, 1. So, yun, makikita natin, cannot add more products. Kasi nga, yung value ni add products na sinet ko ngayon lang para makita is 10. So, makikita natin dito, ito yung if statement kanina. So, if 10 is equal to 10, mangyayari to, which is nangyari nga. Ayan, nangyari. Cannot, So, yung mag-return, which is nag-return sa ating menu. So, if ibabalik ko ito sa dati, 0 ulit. 0 ulit. Yan. Tapos ilagay natin na admin 1. Doon, gumana na yung hindi siya nag-validate, hindi lugpas yung cannot add more product kasi hindi naman hindi naman nagpass or equal sa ating max product limit. So, ito yung nangyari. So, add product ID. Lagyan natin 1, 2, 3, 4. Kunwari lang. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kunwari lang. Tapos product name, Pepsi. Product price is 12. Magkano ba Pepsi ngayon? Let's say 10 pesos. Inflation, am I right? And then, product quantity, which is, let's say 20. So, makita natin, add product added successfully. So, para ma-view natin yon, meron tayong view products method, which is i-discuss later. Pero, para makita nyo lang na kung na-add ba talaga yung product sa ating array or inventory, pinutin ko lang 2. And then, yun. Kung makikita mo, sa product list, nakalagay na yung in-input ko ngayon. So, product ID is 1, 2, 3, 4, Pepsi, price 10, quantity 20. So, tama siya. So, na-add na natin yung product. Na-add natin yung product. So, yeah, that's it.
And thank you for that. And here's our method to view the list of the products in the inventory. We use the public static void because we are not returning any value here. View product as the method name and the parameter int product count and string to the array products. Inside, if there are no products collected in the inventory, it will display no products available and will return. But if there is product inside the inventory, it will display the list of products, the ID, name, price, and the quantity. To display the array, we use for loop, int I is equals to 0, I is less than product count, I plus plus. So for the display of the products, we gonna declare the product array I0, products I1, products I2, and the products I3. For that is the proper arrangement of inputs inside the 2D array. Next is the method to update the details of the product. Public static void again, update products for the method name, string products, and int product count for the parameter. Inside, it will prompt the product to update and it will call the find product ID method. If the product ID does not exist inside the inventory, it will return. But when it finds the corresponding ID, it will prompt to update the new product name, new product price, and the new product quantity. After that, it will display that the update is successful for the product.
So greetings, I am Bonjo Marie Eslacata and I'm here to discuss the delete product method. So let's get started. The delete product method removes a product from the inventory based on its product ID. Let's go through how it works. The method begins by asking the user for the product ID of the item to delete. Then it is stored in a string variable called ID. Then it calls and uses the find product by ID method to locate the product in the array. And it is stored in an integer variable called index. Now, if the product is found, its position or index is returned. If not, the method returns -1 to indicate that the product doesn't exist. In that case, the program displays product not found and stops any further action. Now, if the product is found, we need to remove it. But arrays have a fixed size, so we can just simply delete it. So we used a for loop to shift the remaining products leftward, filling the gap created by the deleted product, which is the for open parenthesis int I equals index I less than product count minus 1 increment I, products I equals products I plus 1. Now this is how the loop works. It starts from the index of the product to delete, and for each position I, it takes the product in the next position which is I plus 1 and moves it into the position I. Now this overwrites the deleted product and shifts everything left. The loop stops at the second to the last product, which is the product count minus 1, because there's no need to shift beyond the valid products in the array. After shifting the products, the method updates the total count of the products by decrement product count. This reduces the count by 1, which means it has been removed. Finally, the program displays a success message confirming the deletion, printing out product deleted successfully.
Good day, my name is Leon J.C. Nanyos and I am here to discuss method to find a product by its ID. So, umpisahan natin sa first line which is yung product static int find product by ID, string products, int product count. So, ito yung method declaration natin. Public means pwede mo siyang ma-access kahit saan sa program. Static naman, you don't need na gumawa ng object para tawagin siya. Int, kasi it returns an integer like the index of the product or -1 kung wala. May tatlo siyang parameters which is yung string ID, string products, int product count. String ID is yung ID ng product na hinahanap mo. Yung string products, ito yung two-dimensional array na nag-hold ng product data like ID, name, and etc. Then, int product count, ito yung kung ilang products yung currently na nasa array. Next naman is yung for loop. Ito yung loop na nag-check ng bawat product. Int I equals 0, start ka muna sa unang product or index 0. Then I is less than product count, loop lang to hanggang sa dulo ng actual product count. Then yung I increment, ito yung para mag-move on to the next product. Then for the if statement naman, ito yung nagko-compare ng product ID sa hinahanap mo. Product I0, ito yung kinukuha yung ID sa first column ng current product. And yung dot equals ID, chine-check kung match sila. Then yung return I, if a match found, the method immediately returns the index of the product. Meaning, this is where your product is located in the array. And then yung return -1 naman, ito yung kapag walang match, kahit natapos na yung loop, magre-return siya ng -1. This means wala yung product sa array.
Ngayon naman, let's talk about perform set transaction method. Ito ay isang method na tumutulong para mag-handle ng set transactions ng isang product. Ang parameters nito is int product count, ang count ng available na products, naman is yung products, isang 2D array na naglalaman ng information tungkol sa mga products. X naman is yung set transactions, isang 2D array na nag-record ng transactions. X naman is yung int transaction count, ang current na count ng set transactions. Kapag pinatawag ang method na ito, may ilang steps na ginagawa. Una dyan is yung product validation, which is ito. Ang ginagawa nito is gina-check muna kung may available na product sa inventory. Kapag ang product count ay 0, ibig sabihin walang nakastock na product. Sa ganitong case, is mag-print ang ating message na no product available to sell. And then, mag-return naman ito sa ating transaction count. Ibig sabihin, hindi tutuloy ang transaction dahil, yun nga, walang pwedeng ibenta dahil ang laman ng ating product count is 0. Next naman is yung pagkuha ng input sa user, which is ito. Ang ginagawa nito is hinihingi niya yung product ID gamit ang ating system out of print. Ayun nga, enter product ID. And then, ang input ng user ay tinatanggap gamit naman ang ating scanner na scanner.next line. Ini-store ang variable na product ID. Next naman doon is yung product lookup or yung find product by ID. Ang ginagawa naman ito, chine-check kung ang product ID na in-enter ng user ay nag-exist sa products array. Gumagamit ng helper function na tinatawag na nating find product by ID para mahanap ang tamang index ng product. Ang function na ito ay magre-return ng index kung existing ang product. Pero magre-return ng -1 kung hindi ito makita. Next naman doon is yung handling non-existent product, which is ito. Ang ginagawa naman ito, kapag ang find product by ID ay nag-return ng -1, ibig sabihin hindi makita ang product. Pag-print naman ito ng message na product not found para ipaalam sa user na invalid ang product ID. Hindi na rin tutuloy ang transaction at ang transaction count ay ibabalik ng walang pagbabago.
Hello everyone, my name is Cristo J. Labine and I'm going to explain the second part of the perform sales transaction and explained by Krisha Ilagan from the first part. So I'm going to explain the total sales or the calculated total sales on the second part of the perform sales transaction. So I'll be looking at the code here and I'm going to explain each code and their purpose. So let's get started. So as you can see here at the first one, we have the in price and the in total sale. So here we have the integer parse int of the product inventory, and then we have the in total sales price times quantity sold. So as you can see here, the integer parse int, we convert the product price or the product price from string to an integer for us to calculate the price and the quantity sold. And as you can see here, we also have arrays. And as you can see here, we have the sales transaction array from index of 0 to 3. And here, the purpose of this array is to store the details of the sales transaction and on each element to correspond on a specific detail of the transaction. So let's get started with the first one. So we have the string value of transaction count and +1. So what does it do? So ang transaction count +1 po is a transaction ID. So basically, if the user input or chose the perform sales transaction, the transaction count will increment by 1. So lalabas po yun ng parang P01. So, every time na yung user will use the perform sales transaction, it will track and also magi-increment siya by 1. So, ibig sabihin, if I use the program ngayon of the sales to perform the sales transaction, it will count by 1. And then, if yung another user nag-use uli ng perform sales transaction, ang kanyang transaction count will be 2. So, bale, ang transaction count po is like a unique ID. So, bale dito, yung unique ID is yung magka-count para rin ma-track natin kung ilan na yung gumamit ng perform sales transaction. And now, for the second part or the second array is the product ID. So, this product ID is for the sold product. So, bale, dito, titingnan po natin kung ano yung mga products na sold by using the product ID. And then, for the third one, we have the quantity sold. Here, ito po yung mismong quantity ng mismong product na na-sold. So, bale, yung nabili or nabenta. And then, for the last one of the total sale, this is the total sale amount. So, bale, dito, ito po yung total sale amount ng transaction. Ganun lang po yun. And then, for our third one po, we have the product inventory index and then the string value of available stock minus quantity sold. So, here po, we have the updates or the updates of the availability of the product or the stock of the product. So, dito sa ating product inventory na array is iso-subtract niya yung mismong quantity sold dun sa current stock. So, basically, if use the user yung perform transaction sales, and also binigay nyo yung quantity sold, ima-minus nyo yun dun sa available stock. So, para dito, ma-update natin kung ilan yung mismong nandun sa loob or yung mismong available stock ng isang product. So, ayun lang po yun. And then, for our fourth one, we have the sale successful and yung transaction ID as you can see and the total sale amount plus total sale. So, yung mismong code na po ito is for our message or confirmation message. So, dito sa ating confirmation message po, we can see that meron siya nakasulat ng sale successful. And also, we have the transaction ID plus transaction count plus 1 and the total sale amount plus the total sale. So, bale dito, dun po sa sinabi kong transaction ID, yun po yung magiging unique niya or yung unique ID niya para malaman natin or matrack natin kung pang ilan na siya. So, dito, ipapakita niya yung confirmation message kasama dito yung transaction ID and also yung total sale or yung amount ng mismong product and also to inform na yung user na yung kanyang paglalagay is sale or sale was successful. So, for the fifth one po or yung return transaction count, ito po yung pag-increment ng mismo and also magre-return po ng ating new transaction count. So, basically po dito, i-increment nyo yung transaction count para matrack po natin kung ilan po yung number ng transaction na nire-return every count po or ng new count. So, bale po, in this second part, we have the convert po natin we have the convert from the product price from string and also para makita po natin para ma-multiply natin yung mismong product price and quantity sold. And we also have the transaction ID and the product ID in the quantity sold and total sale amount. And then the third one is the updates or the update of the available stock on each product from the product inventory array. And then the fourth one po, we have the confirmation message. And for the fifth one, we have the return transaction count to keep the track and also to return the new count. So, bale, ayun po yung mismong, the second part, and I will give this explanation for the third part from John Raven Nonsol. So, ayun, thank you po.
So, hello there. Next naman natin na pag-uusapan ay yung tungkol sa isa naming method na ginamit, which is the view sales transaction, na nakapaloob siya sa case number 6 kapag pumili tayo ng ating option kung anong process ba ang ating gagawin sa system. So, with that, let's explain this. So, sa view sales transaction, nagdeclare kami ng return type na void, which is naglagay kami ng parameter na int transaction count and also string sales transactions. Remember, 2D ang ginamit namin dito, which is may index from row and index per column. So with that, proceed tayo. Kapag ang system natin ay nagkaroon ng walang transaction, which is nakaprompt naman dito sa program na if transaction count is equal to 0, means magre-return tayo ng no sales transactions recorded yet. Just like this one. Type natin. So, since kaka-open pa lang ng program natin, i-type natin ang 6. So, yeah. So, as we can see, no sales transaction recorded yet. However, para magkaroon to ng transaction record, syempre magpe-purchase tayo. Punta tayo sa perform sales transaction, which is pili tayo ng isa, which is product 001, bili tayo ng 5, and with that, successful na. So, para mas makita pa natin ng malinaw, bili ulit tayo from product to naman. Bili tayo dalawa. Isa pa, from product 3. Oh, so wala palang product 3. So, product 2 uli. Mali. So, pili tayo uli pala. Yun pala, sorry. Pili tayo ng option na perform sales transaction. Pili naman natin ang product number 3, which is bili tayong tatlo. And so, with that, pwede na tayo mag-view ng ating sales transactions. So, click natin ng 6, which is nakapaloob naman siya ang ating sa casing na switch casing na kapag pinindot ng 6, tatawagin natin yung method na get or view sales transaction. So, pagka-view niyan, ito na yung magiging prompt ng ating system. Display, baga. So, with that, since meron na tayong transaction, i-disregard na tong if statement na to. And magpo-proceed tayo dito sa ating ID or sa ating pagdi-display ng ating transactions. So, sa sales transactions na array, kumuha tayo sa row I, sa column I at sa row 0, which is yun yung ating transaction number. Transaction number with that. So, as you can see, nagkaroon ito ng what you call that? Nagkaroon to ng pagkasunod-sunod dahil tayo ay nag-declare or naglagay sa ating program na kapag bumili tayo ng isa ay madadagdagan ng transaction count into 1. Pag bumili mo tayong dalawa, pangalawang bili, magiging dalawa yon, so on and so forth. So with that, kita natin dito na T1, T2, T3 kasi nagkaroon tayo ng tatlong transaction which is recorded dito sa ating view sales transaction. So yung pangalawa naman natin na dinidisplay ay yung ID, which is kung ano yung tinransact natin kanina na item, which is this product 001, product 002, product 003, nag-display siya dito kasi tinawag natin yan. Paano na-display yan? Gumamit tayo ng for loop. Sa for loop, may int I is equal to 0 tayo, tapos yung I natin ay less than transaction count, which is dun sa transaction count na record lahat ng ating transactions na ginawa. So, kaya may 1, 2, 3 and kinuha din natin yung product 1, 2, 3 and also yung quantity available. Recorded din kung ilan ba yung binili natin. So, sa quantity sold, 5, 2, 3. So, kanina binili tayo 5, 2, 3. And also, dinidisplay din dito yung sales transaction natin na pang row 3. Which is, ito, row 3. Column, row, column. Which is yung price nung ating nabili times dun sa overall na binili natin. So, 500, 500, and 560, 450. So, with that, itong mga gantong symbols na to ay for designing lamang para mas maayos natin matignan ang ating recording. So, that's it for our view sales transaction method na tinatawag dito sa ating casing, switch casing number 6. So, paano siya tawagin? Declare natin, tawagin natin ang view sales transaction, tawagin natin ang transaction count na int, tawagin din natin ang sales transactions. So, with that, that is our view sales transaction method.
Ayan. So ngayon, let's proceed for our last method. Ito na yung ating confirm exit method. Ito yung method na tinatawag natin kanina sa ating main menu method. So, ayan, public static boolean confirm exit. meron tayong boolean return value. So meaning, it's either true or false lang ang ating i-return. And dito na yung ating system out print, confirm exit, 1 for yes, 2 for no. So, meron tayong panibagong variable dito, which is yung confirm, na nakadeclare as string. And dito na yung mapasok yung ating if statement, or if-else if statement. Ayan na. So, if confirm equals to 1, meaning if 1 daw yung in-input ni user, or chinus ni user between 1 and 2, meaning ating program ay magte-terminate na o mag-e-end na. And mag-display naman dito yung ating exiting system. And ayan na, dito na rin pasok yung system exit, and 0. Then else if confirm equals to 2, meaning if 2 naman daw yung pinili ni user or in-input ni user between 1 and 2, ibig sabihin ay hindi mag-terminate o hindi mag-e-end yung program natin at maglo-loop lang siya ulit doon sa ating login. So, or else, invalid input, please enter 1 or 2 for no. So, meaning, meron din tayong pang error handling dito syempre, which is yung else, no? Na if yung user natin is hindi pumili between 1 or 2, ito yung mag-display. And dito na tayo mag-return false. So, bakit nga ba return false? Like I said nga, meron tayong boolean return value and it's either true or false lang ang ating i-return sa program or sa loob ng method na to. Ayan, so since tapos na tayo sa ating last method, pwede na nating i-test yung program para ma-check if tama ba at na-meet ba yung requirements na kailangan. So, let's start. Ayan, so sa login part, dito nalagay yung admin and admin na tamang credentials. So, what if maglagay tayo ng hindi tamang credentials? Check natin kung ma-handle ba ng ating program. Okay. Ayan, so yes, na-handle niya. Authentication failed daw and please try again. So meaning, maglulup lang na maglulup yung ating program dito sa please enter username hanggang hindi niya nami-meet yung tamang credentials natin. So, lagay na natin yung tama. Ayan, so authentication successful. And dito na lalabas yung ating product inventory management system menu na merong 7 options: add product, view products, update product, delete product, perform sales transaction, view sales transaction, at yung last na exit. So ngayon, try natin mag add product. Okay. Ayan, product added successfully. So, tingnan natin kung makikita natin yung product na ating in-add. Ayan, so as you can see, 4 sila. Bakit? Kasi meron kaming pinrovide na dummy data. So, yung dummy data is itong 3, yung soap, beer, milk, at yung ating in-add na bago, which is yung lime. So, makikita natin, no, na yung ID, name, price, quantity ng ating product. And, ayan. So, ngayon, try naman natin mag-update ng product. Gawin nating P. Nagigawin natin siyang peer. Yan. Product updated successfully. So, let's check kung nabago nga ba yung ating ID P010. Ayan. As you can see, nabago siya from lime to peer. Ngayon, since meron kaming maximum limit dito sa ating inventory, check natin kung makakapag-add pa tayo pag na-meet ba yung ating max product. So, try ko na i-copy yung ating dummy data. Ayan. So, lagyan natin siya sa code. Ayan. So, try natin. Ayan, so as you can see, meron na tayong 9 na product. So, since meron pa siyang last isa or isang slot para sa ating product, pwede pa tayong mag-add. So, try natin mag-add. Bigyan natin siyang realistic. Ayan. So, tingnan nga natin. Ayan. Meron tayong 10 product. Ito na yun. ID, name, price, quantity. And P001 hanggang P010. So, nandiyan yung ating mga name ng product. So, ito yung soap, beer, milk, rice, cake, meat, fish, salt, buns, at lime. And nandiyan din yung price natin, no? Na lahat sila ay hundreds lang. And quantity. Ayan. So ngayon, try ulit natin mag-add ng product kung makapag-add pa ba tayo kahit nasa maximum na tayo ng ating product limit. Ayan, so as you can see, cannot add more products, maximum limit reach. So meaning, hindi na tayo makapag-add ng product kasi na-meet na yung ating maximum limit, which is yung maximum limit of 10 lang. So, ngayon, try na natin mag-delete ng product. Try natin i-delete yung ating P010. Before that, try natin mag-delete ng product na wala sa ating ID. No? Na wala sa 10 product natin. Check natin if meron mo ma-delete or maglalabas ng not found. P010. And as you can see, product not found. So, tama yung code natin. So, try natin mag-delete ng tamang product. Ayan. So, product deleted successfully. Now, check natin kung na-delete ba natin yung P010 nating ID, which is yung lime. So, ayan. As you can see, 9 na lang ulit yung product natin and wala na yung ating P010 na product, which is yung lime. So, ngayon, mag-perform sales transaction naman tayo. So, dito, para magbebenta na tayo ng ating product. Benta tayo ng ayan. So, quantity sold natin. Benta tayo ng siguro kahit 3 lang. Ayan. So, sabi, sales successful, transaction ID 1. So, ito, binibilang niya kung ilan yung transaction natin. No, ito naman yung ating maximum transaction. So, dito nag-declare kami ng 30. I think 30. Ay, 50. So, nag-declare kami ng 50 para kayang ubusin yung product talaga. So, ngayon, benta pa ulit tayo. So, benta tayo ng ayan. So, ayan na. Ngayon, check natin if so, ayan. As you can see, T1, T2, and yung ID natin, quantity sold, and makikita natin yung total sale ng ating product, no? So, nakulangan na kami na spacing dito. And, pero ayan, tama naman yung computation natin kasi 300. So, magkano nga ba yung ating P001? So, 100. So, nagbenta tayo ng tatlo. Siyempre, kikita tayo ng 300 dyan. And yung P002 natin na 280. So, ang dalawa is, tatlo is 840. So, ngayon, try natin ubusin naman kung so yan, ito. Ulit. Ngayon, mag-perform ulit tayo ng sales transactions. Ayan. So, 5,000. Ngayon, tingnan natin. Ayan. So, as you can see, nagbenta tayo or nag-perform tayo ng sales transaction sa P005 natin, which is yung cake na merong price na 500 ang isa. So, syempre, nagbenta tayo ng 10 and 5K yung ating total sale. Ngayon, check natin kung magbebenta pa ba natin siya kahit ubos na yung ating quantity since ang quantity natin ay 10 lang. 4K. So, lagyan na tayo ng 10 ulit. Ayan, insufficient stock na. So, meaning, tama tayo and na-handle niya pag ubos na yung ating stock ubos na yung stock ng ating product. Ayan, so after natin sa option 1 to 6, syempre try na natin yung ating last option which is yung exit. So, ayan, so confirm exit, 1 for yes, 2 for no. So pag mag-2 tayo, ayan, may lalabas na exit cancelled and maglo-loop lang yung ating please enter username. So, makakapag-login tayo ulit. So, let's try. Ayan, as you can see. Then, try ulit natin mag-exit. Pero this time, mag-i-yes na tayo and i-confirm na natin na gusto natin mag-exit sa program. Ayan, so, exiting system na siya. So, wala na nag-loop or anything. And dito na nagtatapos yung ating program. So, ayun lang po, Sir Janus. Thank you so much po. And dito na po nagtatapos ang aming presentation for final project ng CCS 102.